Sorry. Got one now. Reminder, there's no intermission, so we gotta do stuff. Hello, welcome to our show. We are the Improv. What? The Reservoir Frogs. And we are here to tell you a story of misery and hope, high ambitions and low morals. Yep, that's improv, all right. And so to create our story, our three storytellers are going to use the prompts of a silky chicken, a haunted hospital with vampires, vampire doctors, and superhero and sidekick.
I'm Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Just Dan, just that guy. You know, just out here in the world and just trying to find somebody that I could latch onto and gain fame, fortune. You know, maybe have some fans that you know those people. They're the type of people that they don't like the Tom Cruise or the Brad Pitt. They prefer, that actor, that guy. We don't remember their name, but we're like fans of them. That's the kind of guy I want to be. That latches onto the coattails of somebody better than me. Because frankly, I'm just kind of lazy.
Hi, I'm Dan. No, not that Dan, the other Dan. I have a lab coat. People look up to me because I'm Dr. Dan. And I want everyone, I mean everyone, to think of me as that hero, Dr. Dan.
I want a day job. I'm Sylvia. I am night security at the local hospital, and you would be surprised how much goes on at night. I strangely think the day job would be quieter and slower.
Dan, not that Dan. I'm this Dan. I just want someone's coattails, maybe a lab coat, to just latch onto and make me popular in their image.
Dr. Dan. Kid surgeon hero, only not a kid like Doogie Howser, grown up. I work with kids. Yeah.
Sylvia, I would like to work in the daytime. This hospital is weird at night.
So, it all started when I was just I would say wee lad, but I'm not from Ireland or Scotland. I'm from Chicago. We don't say wee. We say when I was a little kid, when I was just a tyke. I was playing it with my Legos, and I don't know, I guess it was probably a waiting room of some weird place. And I used to create these structures, and everybody would tell me, "You're gonna be an architect." And I was like, okay. I mean, I didn't know what architect meant, and then I got into middle school geometry, and I was like, fuck that, I don't like architecture. Just like playing with my Legos, and you know those sets that you can buy that are like presets, and they're like spaceships, or it's like a house, or you know maybe the Ghostbusters car, you know. Well, I used to take pieces from different sets, and I would make my own things, you know, and
yeah, I've been working here, what, 3 years, 2 months, 9 days, 6 hours and 20 minutes. Not that I'm counting or anything. You know, I tried to count, you know, those 0 days since whatever happens on. So I tried to do 0 days since craziness, 1 day since crazy. I never get past half a day without craziness. And you would think it would be like code blues or code blacks or whatever all the codes are. But there's screeching and there's random things appear as if somebody's just using their imagination and putting pieces together of disparate sets. You know, I've tried to think of a way that this is a good thing. Because I get paid. I get paid very well for working overnights, $22 an hour. And I actually do have health coverage, but it's here at this hospital.
So you want to know a little bit about Dr. Dan. All right. Well, I'm chief of night surgery here at Fairview Hospital, Southdale. Yeah. I got myself through night medical school at UW-Madison. Did you know they had night medical school? It's a special thing, night medical school. Yeah. I'm about to do open heart surgery on a 4-year-old. His mom's gonna love me.
yeah, I know Dr. Dan. I met him for the first time. He was standing over me, and I was lying back on a table, and they were like putting this big scary mask over my. It was nighttime, and just was this creepy like. And I think I was awake for the whole thing, but I didn't feel anything, except for just I saw this concern, and not just concern, but empathy. And well, I mean, can you actually see genius gleaming from somebody's eyes? I swear that's what I saw as Dr. Dan ripped open my chest.
Sylvia, being the only non-supernatural being as a hospital worker, she's been applying for jobs during the daytime, and they keep just disappearing, and she doesn't know why.
He said it sounded like Jesus. Oh, genius. Sorry, I heard you wrong.
No, I'm not really a very religious man. I'm a man now. But ever since that day, I swear, something from that, remember I told you there's something in the ceiling? Something from that.
Doug, not Dr. Dan, there's this other guy. He's been here a very long time. Years, I'm told. Yeah, I know him. His name's easy to forget, but you recognize him. Walking down the halls. He never actually even tries to leave, even though he says that's all he wants to do.
I mean, I get waves from everybody as I walk down the corridors. I mean, the east corridor is my favorite because mornings are my favorite time of day because that's when I can actually see what's going on. Because, you know, the sunlight.
Dan's nickname in night medical school was Chameleon.
Dan is my star patient. Now I know he's aspiring to be my assistant. He's had many transformative surgeries. You should have seen what he looked like before. You wouldn't even recognize him now.
I've had so many surgeries from Dr. Dan, just like through osmosis. Can you learn things through osmosis? There's always this joke where, you know, people like sleep with their textbook under their pillow and they say they know it. Well, I mean, it's kind of the same thing. When you witness the surgery on yourself 27 and a half times, the half a time is a different story.
Yeah, I can't deal with hearing about one more surgery on Dan, that guy. He's a good guy, he's a nice guy, but so I've been applying to a lot of places. But nobody ever calls me back. I'm desperate. I've applied to like US Bank and the Viking Stadium, and now I'm applying to Walmart and Walgreens and CVS. They have 24-hour services though too.
Yeah, that CVS, I had it closed. It was an easy cover because you go from place to place to place and you see a boarded up CVS. They're all over the place.
Dr. Dan finally decided he would allow me to assist in my first surgery. And I mean, I just grabbed a hold of his coattail and scalpel in one hand and bottom of lab coat in the other. And it's scary when you look at a human being and decide that the right thing to do is to actually cut them open.
Things are getting a little tense around here. Yes, that is true. So I decided to bridge a gap. If I can't get a job elsewhere, I'm still trying though. I'm gonna make nice and be friendly and get to know, I mean, I've been here 3 years, but I don't know them that well. I brought cookies. They refused to eat them.
You know, there used to be a Walmart in St. Anthony, by that where it used to be Apache Plaza. She applied there. I had that closed. She's not going anywhere.
Sylvia actually spoke to me for the first time that day that she brought the cookies in. And it wasn't that I didn't want the cookie. I did want the cookie. I mean, I've had a crush on Sylvia for like almost my entire stay here at the hospital, from like age 4 to age 49. And I swear, I wanted a cookie. I just couldn't quite grasp it.
Dan let me know about his crush.
Oh.
That's when I decided Sylvia ain't going anywhere.
One of Dan's super abilities is to age very quickly, within 3 years. And then you can de-age a little bit and then re-age at will.
Okay, so 2 things happened. I tried again. This time I brought hot food, pasta, marinara, and all I got complaints is there's no meat. And they would prefer it rare. That's weird. I mean, not weird that people like rare meat, but anyway. And I caught Dr. Dan going through like my phone and stuff. He had it open to my LinkedIn. I don't know if this is a weird way of flirting or I can't think what else. I mean, you think you'd go after.
The first words I ever said to Sylvia in the, I mean, I've changed ages so many times. I don't actually know how long I've been in this damn hospital or how old I actually am. But I know that in many, I don't know, days, months, years, a certain vague amount of long time, the first words I ever said to Sylvia is, I will give you a job. And she like looked at me.
We're up to 33 surgeries on Dan now. You know, they say when we started out, Dan looked a lot more like a raccoon. There's not really a lot of truth to that. Don't believe everything you read.
I prefer red panda to raccoon because I think they're cooler. I mean, they're kind of like a raccoon except for that they're red and their tail is floofier.
Dr. Dan's hero doctor complex is taking over his life. He's done 33 surgeries on Dan. The 34th will be bad news.
You know, now that you ask, and I think about it, I don't know if Dr. Dan has another patient. I don't know how he could be working here all these years at night, keeping the lights on. Well, no lights, actually. Wait a minute. Using resources, though. I wonder what hospital administration would have to say about that.
Sylvia had a memory of bringing a mirror to work just to redo her makeup every now and then, and Dr. Dan smashed it.
I ran into Sylvia by the ice cream vending machine. It's got my favorite flavor in it, Cherry Garcia. And I said, Sylvia, you're looking a little peaked. Why don't you come to my office for an examination?
Remember I told you about that half surgery a while ago? Well, I mean, now that I'm on 33 and I just have a foreboding feeling that 34 is going to finish that other half and I might not survive. And then I saw Dr. Dan taking Sylvia into his office and I was like, oh my God, I can't let this happen to Sylvia. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I am not a hero. I am a sidekick. That's my dream. But Dr. Dan is not the hero I thought he was.
No, I don't trust him. But what am I gonna do? I mean, it's weird. He wants to examine me in the dark. I can't let that happen.
I can't let that happen. Sylvia and I are gonna get each other away from haunted Dr. Dan. I think it's Sylvia's the hero here. She's the one that's been taking care of all of us. She takes care of the hospital. She takes care of me when I'm not in surgery. If I could get on that cart and convince her to hit floor 1 in the elevator, I know we could get out of here. I know it. But she had reservations.
Dan was fighting his natural inclination to be a sidekick and trying to be a superhero for once in his life.
Thank goodness there was a flash down the hall, and it really seemed to blind Dr. Dan. More than you would think. He just went, whoa.
Whenever I change my age, I flash brightly. I did it to blind Dr. Dan, but also to make it easier for Sylvia to get me out. I decided that I would be 3 months old. You know, it's actually the first time I've actually chosen my age, and I felt empowered. I mean, the adrenaline.
Where did the baby come from? Oh my, I told you, things just appear, but this time it's a baby. Well, of course I went to the baby.
Baby Dan was too short and small to reach that button in the elevator for floor 1.
Oh, I tried to tell her hit floor 1, but the problem is when I change my age, I actually mentally become that age too. And so it just kind of came out like, wow. I mean, she did hit the roof button. I don't know why she was taking a baby to the roof. In the middle of the night, no less. But, oh, maybe the helicopter? Does she fly a helicopter? I don't know.
When I came to, they were gone. Curse that Dan! I was going to make his dream come alive! I was going to take Dan, and I was going to take Sylvia, and I was going to join them together as one. Now I don't know what to do.
Epilogue.
I made it up to that roof with the baby, who looked strangely familiar. But I didn't know where to go from there, and I heard Dan behind me, Dr. Dan. I really wanted the other Dan. There is no helicopter on the roof. Nobody gets choppered in at 3 a.m. to a closed hospital. I'm never getting a day job, am I? I'm stuck here. Yep. Night guard forever. Nobody leaves.
Another property of when I switch my age, not just a flash of light. I mean, I literally become light, insubstantial. like a photon. And I was like, where are we gonna go? There's no helicopter. So I flashed. And I became Dan again, but I was at street level and I had become not just the sidekick to Sylvia in my own rescue. I mean, can you be a sidekick and a victim? I mean, I guess so. But I also kind of became my own hero, and not sure how I feel about that. Not ready to be my own hero. Not even sure who I am. I don't know how old I am. I don't know how long I've been alive. I mean, I guess it could be whatever I want. I mean, at least age-wise. Kind of awkward, though, when you've never actually been through puberty, or at least that you can remember. But yeah, I mean, I guess I got my dream. I did become Sylvia's sidekick. And I mean, I guess I have this weird superpower. But now I'm a hero, and I'm kind of having an existential crisis about it.
It hit me real hard. I made it to the roof. Sylvia was holding some baby. And then there was this brilliant flash of light. And when I opened my eyes, there was Dan. And he said, Dr. Dan, I've always aspired to be like you, to be close to you, but no more. I, the student, become the master. And he cold-cocked me. When I came to, on the rooftop, they were gone. The sun was rising. And the door was locked.
This was the story of Dr. Dan's Hospital of Doom.
Tom Schmidt.
Amy Zajac.
Michelle D'Angelo. Thank you so much.
Justin on guitar. Diana in the Let's give another round of applause for our storyteller, Marika. Emily.
Wow, what a ride we had tonight, folks. How fun. We would like to open up before we leave to anybody, any of our improvisers, accompaniment, anybody who has anything to plug, any other shows or anything coming up.
I'm with Jester's Comedy Improv tomorrow at Torg Brewery.
If anybody happens to be in St. Cloud tomorrow, I'm producing a show in St. Cloud.
What kind of show?
It's a stand-up comedy show at Backshed Brewing in White Park.
Nice.
Yes.
Karaoke After Dark at the Minnesota Fringe Festival. 5 shows. Karaoke burlesque mashup. You sing, we fling.
It's incredible.
I think there's little ad cards for that out
There
there too.
are. You're probably not escaping without me throwing one at you.
Good advertising. Anybody else? Well, okay, good. You better say something because I can't see shit. So, all right. If you did have something to say, I will say we will be back. I believe September 12th I looked in the Discord. So we'll be back at 7 p.m. September 12th. We're taking August off for Fringe. Other than that, thank you so much to Marika Wire-Bauer, Justin Johnson, 2 chairs and a baby, Young, and Reservoir.
Are we picturing? We need lights for photos.
Oh, you know what?